Hi, I'm Chanin. I'm a certified Reiki master and teacher, licensed massage therapist, certified cryotherapist, and clinical herbalist. And this is the Healing Journey. So today we are going to talk a little bit about Massage 101. What's that mean? It's more or less what to expect and what massage really is, especially if you've never had a massage. Because people see things in movies and on TV, or they hear things, but that's oftentimes a lot different than what it really is. Before we go too far, I want to give you my experience, my first-hand experience of my very first massage, because I was terrified. I was 22 years old, and I went to a local salon and got my first massage. My massage therapist was male. I was a 22-year-old kid thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be here crazy and be naked and all this. But the fact of the matter is, the therapist walked me through most everything before I ever got on the table. And that built the foundation of how I do it. I can tell you that even though he was very calm, talked to me beforehand, went over everything, how everything was going to happen, I was still scared. I was still apprehensive. When he was doing draping, I still felt totally exposed, and I would pull the sheets like up to my chin, and I just was very uncomfortable the whole time. Has nothing to do with anything he did. It was me, because I still had no idea of what to expect. So that's why I spend a little extra time with my clients, especially on their first visit, and they tell me they've never had a massage before. I might spend 10 or 15 minutes just talking to them about how things are going to flow, how things are going to work, what it's going to feel like. So, they aren't so apprehensive and aren't tense the whole time and finally relaxing in the last 5 minutes when they're face down and I'm working on their back. It's supposed to be relaxation. It's supposed to be therapeutic. It's supposed to feel good and give you a minute to step outside of reality, not worry about if something is showing. So this is actually the way a lot of first-time clients feel, because they don't know what to expect. They expect it to either be like on TV or movies, but it's really a lot simpler than that. One common misconception is that people think there's a difference between Swedish and therapeutic massage. I often get told things like, I want a Swedish massage, not a therapeutic. And those people who know me know what runs through my head when somebody says that. And usually it runs along the lines of, sure, I'll take the therapy out of that session. I'm going to go hang out in the other room while you lay here for an hour. I'll be back and let you know when it's done. But I never say that. And I just try to gently explain that Swedish is therapeutic. Its intention is more relaxation, but all massage, all touch is therapeutic. So you can't take the therapy out of Swedish massage. You can just be more intentional on relaxation and less on the therapeutic side. But it's all going to be therapeutic in some way, shape, or form. The fact is that relaxation massages include releasing tension in your muscles, helping your joints relax, and calming your nervous system. And that's therapeutic. It doesn't matter if you're calling it therapeutic, it's still therapeutic. Most therapists use multiple modalities during a relaxation or Swedish massage. They may use a little bit of reflexology. They may use a little bit of trigger point. They may use some myofascial release. They may use some Swedish techniques. These are all tools that they have in their toolkit, even from basic information in school. They don't have to go to extra classes. They have most of this knowledge from just being in school. So that you will never get just a basic Swedish massage. So the big thing here about this piece is massages are therapeutic, even when they're about relaxation. So don't worry about asking for a Swedish or therapeutic massage, just say you want to focus on relaxation, if that's what you want to focus on. You're going to get more long gliding strokes. You're going to get less deep work. It's just going to feel better all around. I can tell you some of my clients love relaxation massages, but they like the firmer pressure. So again, it's all about what makes you relax, and that's why they ask, do you want to relax or do you want work? Do you want Swedish? But it's all therapeutic. So let's say you get there and you've set up your first appointment to have a massage. You to arrive about 5 to 10 minutes early. This gets you time to settle in. It gives you time to answer any intake form questions if you didn't fill them out online. It also gets you just a minute to sit and calm and be ready for your appointment. When we're talking about the intake form, I just want to briefly say, massage is a medical treatment. We need to know your medical history. We need to know what medications you're on. We need to know about surgeries, especially recent surgeries. Because believe it or not, there are times when massage is not a good fit. There are times when it's contraindicated, especially if you've had surgery recently, or you're on specific types of medications, or if you have certain autoimmune issues. You want specific things to happen during your sessions. We have to know this stuff, or unfortunately, a massage can be bad for you, and we don't want that. The other great thing about the intake form and the fact that it's a medical treatment is that we have to comply with HIPAA. If we don't comply with HIPAA, we can be fined $250,000. So we have to comply with HIPAA. Any intake you form, whether it's in paper or electronic, has to be HIPAA compliant. And most of us use software that is HIPAA compliant, and that's why we use it, because they take care of that end of it. We have the storage, we have all the information we need, but there's no way for anybody to hack into it. So the best thing to do is answer the intake form questions honestly. Don't skip over them. Be true and honest with what you're answering. A lot of times the intake forms will also give any policies on late cancellations or no-show, no-calls. It will also give other information about the practice. So intake forms are really important for both you and for the massage therapist and the place you're going to. So make sure you complete them accurately. After you get there and you fill out your intake form, if you haven't done it already, the massage therapist will call you back to the room, and you'll go back there and they'll go over your intake form with you. At least they should. Sometimes they don't, if it's really straightforward and clear cut and everything. But a lot of times, myself, my massage therapists, other ones that I know, will actually take time and go over the intake form with you. This is great because they are making sure they understand you and your medical history and what you are looking for. If it's your first time, they should also talk about how they normally run a session. Just remember one thing, even though I say they are running the session, it's really your session. You can tell them at any point, I don't like that, I want this, it doesn't matter. But they'll give you a general idea of the flow of the session. Mine, it depends on the person, but I'll either start with the neck or I'll start with the back. It all depends. So, they'll tell you the flow of the session. They might also ask you about certain areas that you may or may not want to have touched. Some people don't like their hands or feet done. Some people don't want you to work their glutes. Some people don't like you to work their pecs up through here. So a massage therapist should ask, do you mind if I work your hands, your feet, your pecs, your glutes? And explain to you if they work them through the sheets or if they don't. If you say no, those are now areas they will not touch. So boundaries are really important, and they do matter. And that's part of what a good intake with the massage therapist will include, is what are your boundaries? Don't work the glutes, don't work the feet. If you don't want that worked, they won't work it. They shouldn't anyway. Don't let anyone tell you they have to touch you in a space that you do not want to be touched, such as your feet or your glutes. It is not a requirement. They can work legs without glutes. They can work arms without hands. Your boundaries are your boundaries. Make sure they understand what your boundaries are. So after that, we're going to talk about draping.
Cosmec Healing handcrafted small batch tinctures and transdermal salves, double third-party tested for quality you can trust. If you've got pain, headaches, or anxiety, our products are here to help you find relief. Patient over profits mindset, 'cause we're patients too. CosmecHealing.com.
Real estate goddess, yeah. She's the one to get you there. Homes and dreams are perfect, yeah. Chanin family beyond compare.
Frederick's changing fast. New restaurants, big projects, community debates. Don't hear about it a week later on Facebook. Wake up with Danny Gurry on Good Morning Frederick, the only show that's first with what matters in your backyard. The show airs weekdays at 9 a.m.
Next thing you should know about is draping. Sheets are not a decoration. They are there for your security and safety, and the safety and security of the massage therapist. We only undrape the piece of body that we will be working on. So if your arms are under the sheets, we will pull it out and tuck the sheet underneath so nothing gets exposed. That is the way we protect you and your boundaries. So sheets are very important. Draping is very important. We only undrape the leg. Personally, I never undrape glutes, even if I work on them. I work on them through the sheets. It's totally acceptable and totally doable. So your massage therapist may not feel that way, but I know it's doable. So that's how I do it. But yeah, proper draping is a big deal. And it is a big deal in school. It is a big deal in most places that have massage therapy. They have protocols about what kind of draping can be done. So draping is a big thing. If they're just throwing the sheets over and everything, you can say, I'm not comfortable. Could you make it tighter? They should make it tighter. Always feel comfortable with the piece of your body part that is exposed, whether it be a leg or an arm. Everything else gets covered up and stays covered up. All right, so draping. Undress to your comfort level. When I say this, I'm saying, some places say, take everything off and get on the table. I personally don't like to say that because that may not be my client's preference. You should be able to undress to your level of comfort. If you are a female and you want to leave on your bra, leave it on. They can work around it. They shouldn't move the bra. They should not unhook it. That is your boundary, and they need to respect that. If you say, could you move the strap of your bra so that I can work your trap a little bit better, and you want to just move the strap down to the side of your arm, that is doable. If you say, no, I'm not comfortable, they should work around it. You should never be forced to undress more than you are comfortable. You can leave on socks. You can leave on undergarments. I have clients who leave on leggings, and we just work through the leggings. You dress and undress to what you're comfortable with. And that's a big part of the boundaries. Undress to your level of comfort. The next thing is, you would think somewhat logical, but when you're getting on the table, get under the blankets and the sheets. Sandwich yourself between the blankets and the sheets. Do not lay on top of them. You need to go in between. I unfortunately walk in sometimes. It's like, nope. I walk right back out and I tell them through the door, get in the sheets. So make sure you're sandwiching yourself between the sheets when you get on the table. It's very, very seldom that you would ever not be in the sheets for a massage, especially if you're undressing. So in the sheets, under the blanket, nothing exposed, except for maybe your head. Everything else gets under the sheets. Other than that, relax and enjoy. A good massage therapist should keep you feeling relaxed for the whole session, even if it is a working therapeutic session where you're getting deeper work or we're focusing more. Therapeutic's still going to be relaxing. Relaxing is still going to be therapeutic. They work together. After the massage, take a moment. Your massage therapist will leave the room. Take a moment. Take a few breaths. Stretch a little, move a little. Slowly get off the table and get dressed. Do not feel rushed. I don't care if they ran over. Do not make them let you feel rushed. Take your time. You just had a very relaxing experience. Your blood pressure might be a little low, not too low, but might be lower because you were in that relaxed parasympathetic state. And rushing can actually make you feel a little wobbly sometimes. Take your time. Take a few breaths. Slowly sit up and stand up. Slowly get dressed. You're going to be fine. A lot of times, massage therapists will tell you what they found, what areas they feel need work. They'll usually set up a treatment plan for you so that you have an idea of how you can fix these things. A good therapist is going to individualize a program for you or a treatment plan for you. They're not going to say, oh, well, this is this and you have to do this. They're going to say, these are your options. And you get to choose. If you want to do monthly massages, great. Sometimes you're really tight and they might say, hey, every other week would be good for a while, then we can go to monthly. Personally, I like to look at the person and say, it's up to your budget. Here are 3 options. And I give them 3 different options and they can choose based on their availability and their budget, because not everybody has the same availability and not everybody has the same budget. And just let them know if they're taking more time to do stuff and seeing me once a month or once a quarter, it's going to take longer to fix the areas than it would be otherwise. If it's just a relaxation and I know that's all they want, I'm going to say, once every 4 to 6 weeks, you should come back and just keep yourself balanced and relaxed. And they can say yes or no. But that's the next step, is telling you what they find and deciding if you're going to come back and how often. One thing I want to make sure you understand is that a massage is a partnership. It's and it needs communication. You can ask questions and make statements at any time during your massage. It doesn't have to be quiet. You don't have to sit there and stew or question or wonder, oh my goodness, should I have said this? Say it. It's your session. You're paying for their time, so it's your session. Now, there are things they cannot do, and they will say, hey, I can't do that, or I'm not certified to do that, or whatever. But if you want more pressure, you can say, could you make that a little firmer? If you want it more relaxing, you can say, that's a little too intense. Can you back it off a little bit? If you change your mind and they start working on your glutes and you're like, hey, I'm not comfortable with that. It feels really weird. Would you not do that? They'll stop. Communication. You have to give communication to your therapist. They can't read your mind. So you have to let them know. Licensed therapists will also have hundreds to thousands of hours of training, not just daily experience, but training. Just in Maryland, you have to have about 720 hours of training before you could ever be eligible for licensing. After that, you have to take classes every 2 years to keep your license. So we have thousands of hours within the first 5 years of our career. Now, if you include experience by having clients on the table, it's still thousands. So they understand the communication part, or they should, because this is stuff that we're taught in every class, even our continuing education classes. They talk to us about communication. Make sure your client's comfortable. Make sure your client understands. Make sure you're doing what the client requested within your scope of practice. So communication on our part is very important. If you don't tell us, we don't know. So we will sometimes ask, how is this? Does this okay? Some people get really mad. Why are you talking to me during the session? And I say, because I don't read your mind. And I will actually say that to them. Some think it's funny, some don't. But the fact of the matter is, I can't read their mind. So if I don't ask, they can't tell me. The goal is always to work safely within the client's comfort zone and to promote healing. That healing is therapeutic and relaxing, but it's still healing. So please communicate with your therapist throughout the whole session. You do not have to talk the whole session, but if something is uncomfortable or you want to do it in a different way or it doesn't feel right today, but you liked it last time, tell them. They can work around it. They can change it up. Tell them. Open communication. So the takeaway today, massage is always therapeutic, even when it's relaxation. Massage should always be individualized, even when you go to some place that you feel is more franchisee. They should give you some individualized techniques, only because that is literally what they're taught. Not everybody is going to get the same massage. For first timers, it's scary, but don't be intimidated. Ask questions, set boundaries, and trust your therapist. So they know what they're doing, especially if they're licensed. They had to go through lots of school tests and all this other stuff. And if they're good, they're going to talk to you so that they can make sure you're getting the experience you want. And just remember, again, and I can't say this enough, your boundaries matter. So if you set a boundary, you need to make sure they stick with it. If they start pressing or they start, going outside your boundary or your comfort level, stop the session right then. It's totally okay if you do that. It's your session, and if they don't comply with your boundaries, it stops. All right? So communicate with your therapist. Now, if this episode helped you understand massage in a new way or in a different way or gave you a new perspective, please do me a big favor and share, like, subscribe, and send this to somebody who you feel would benefit, whether it's yourself or a friend or somebody you feel needs a massage, but they're always too afraid. Send it to them. Share it with them. Help us shift the conversation. We need people to understand that their bodies talk to them and that their bodies tell them what they need. And sometimes it's relaxation. And sometimes it's healing. And sometimes they just need to be more aware. And that's what we're here to do. If you are ready to feel a difference and you've never had a massage, I challenge you to make your first appointment. If you're close to us in Frederick, Maryland, please feel free to reach out to the Healing Storm Holistic Wellness. We'd love to see you in our wellness center. But if you're not in the area, you can always find a great massage therapist. There's lots of them out there. There's lots of different ways to find them. You can go search the internet. You can go to massage therapy organizations like amtamassage.org. They have a list of massage therapists in every area. So find a massage therapist, get your first session, and see if you don't get a little bit more relaxation, a little bit of therapeutic work out of it, even, if that's not what you're looking for. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for choosing yourself and getting what you need. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.